Today is huge, man. Madden 27 release day, always a day you look forward to growing up, and even as an adult, it's just one of those days that get the juices flowing. That is really football season again. My Madden 27 franchise team is going to be the Kansas City Chiefs. And obviously, that starts with none other than Patrick Mahomes. He's completely changed his franchise since he arrived in 2017, winning three Super Bowls, going to five. He's one of one, man. Truly one of the greatest players I've ever watched in my lifetime. And other than Tom Brady, he has a case against any quarterback one on one in terms of who's had the better career. When you look at his stats year by year, obviously it's been more of a down couple seasons for Mahomes, and that's what we're looking to do. We're looking to get back to this 41 touchdown season that he had in 2022. Excellent year. Was the first year of the back-to-back Super Bowls. Obviously, the second year of the back-to-back Super Bowl was a little down. Still had more production than the last two seasons. And what you notice is the last 2 years he's been running a ton, and more so just last year. He was the Chiefs' leading rusher to end the season, and he missed a lot of games. So that is not what you want to see this year. And that brings me to none other than Kenneth Walker, who is going to come in and provide this Chiefs team something that they have not had in a very long time. Walker has looked explosive so far in training camp. Obviously, just had 200 yards in the Super Bowl and was Super Bowl MVP. And that gives us a backfield of two guys who have won Super Bowl MVPs. When you look at Kenneth Walker, over the years. Last year, obviously, a career year for him, but his rookie year in Seattle, when he was also healthy, he had 1,000-yard year as well. We're looking to see if maybe he can take more of a workhorse approach here in Kansas City, as we do have other backs on the roster as well, but none of which to the talent of Kenneth Walker. We have Rashad Smith, more of a passing guy. We'll try to get him in on some third and fourth downs. Looked like he bulked up a little bit this summer, but obviously still more of a pass catcher at 194 pounds. Pretty quick. He'll be useful in the return game, hopefully, and we'll see if he can turn into anything special here for us. Only 23 years old. Eric DeMarcado is a little bigger, stout-wise, smaller, but he can run between those tackles, and he's a point A to point B guy. He doesn't do a whole lot of cutting back and forth, so he'll be good in maybe some short yardage situations if Kenneth Walker is not available or needs a blow on a third and one or something like that. DeMarcado will be our guy, but Emmett Johnson, 22 years old, out of Nebraska. He is an exciting player. 5'10", 205 pounds. You can't see what he's done at college. That would be a nice feature for them to look to add potentially in the future. Um, 89 speed, 90 acceleration. In real life, I'm very excited about him. Solid in the pass game. Should be a nice piece for this Chiefs offense going forward for sure. The Chiefs also have Jaden Ott, who I don't really know too much about personally. I know he's a tank, but I'm not really sure how he did at Oregon. I believe that's where he goes. I don't know why they got rid of it, telling you their college right there, but I believe he went to Oregon. Does it show me there? Oklahoma. Maybe he went to Oregon at some point. Okay, so it turns out Jaden Ott went. He didn't. No, excuse me. He didn't go anywhere. He committed to Oregon as a freshman in high school, and then he decommitted in his sophomore year and went to Cal. So that must have just been a coincidence that I thought he went there. There's no way I knew where he committed as a freshman in high school. I'm not that tapped into the high school football scene. But that moves me forward to our receiving room, and where do I start with Rasheed Rice? Obviously, that 2023 season at the start of the year, or that 2024 season, excuse me, at the start of the year, before that horrific injury when Mahomes threw a pick, dove at Rasheed Rice, that was tough. Um, 2023, we saw an excellent season in which that led to a Super Bowl, but the last 2 years he hasn't been able to stay on the football field, and it kind of has changed the whole perception on Rasheed Rice. Obviously, all the off the field stuff, he's not the greatest guy. But in terms of a football player, he was an electric rookie, second round guy. Not many expectations of him, and he came in and almost had 1,000 yards his rookie season. And you know, regardless of what the public perception and how I may personally feel about Rasheed Rice, the rest of the team seems to love him. It's always all smiles when he's around. And if we can get him anywhere close to that 2023 season, it'll drastically change what this offense can look like. And obviously, Xavier Worthy's another guy that we're going to want to try and develop here. Hasn't really shown much as a route runner. He struggles with tracking the ball and staying in bounds. But the speed, he showed it off a couple times. That game against Baltimore, his rookie season, he showed it off. But as a route runner, he really hasn't developed the way you'd like him to. And unfortunately, you know, not that the clock is ticking, but it's going to come time that he's going to need an extension, and we're going to have to decide, hey, is it worth it to pay this guy that can't really run routes, isn't really going to win 50-50 balls, isn't shaking guys free in open field? What is the value there? And sure, in Madden, we can just bomb it deep to him. But that's not how I'm going to play. I like to really, get everybody involved how they should be. Obviously, we'll run him over those deep routes, and if it's there, we're going to take advantage. But in real life, he hasn't proven as much of a separator, and that speed doesn't really show up unless he's going straight. He's kind of got that whole MVS thing where he goes side to side and he's kind of just longer than he is quick. So we wonder if maybe he can turn some of that quickness into change of direction here and really make a difference for us because we are rooting for Xavier Worthy, as negative as I just sounded right there. I just don't want, you know, he's not going to instantly become my number one guy because he's got that 99 speed as much as I do love him. Tyquan Thornton's a guy that kind of broke out last year for the Chiefs for a couple weeks, and then he kind of just disappeared once Rasheed Rice came back. He kind of lost all the touches. He got a new 2-year contract this season, and Tyquan Thornton was one of the fastest players in his draft class, so that 92 speed is kind of surprising to me. But maybe at this point in his career, he's more of a refined route runner. He was creating a lot of separation, and Mahomes and him seemed to have a great connection last season. So hopefully we can build upon that. And seems like he's a very, very smart guy uh, in terms of his contract negotiations and uh, stuff like that. So this stuff we will get into. All new to Madden 27 are the new persona DNA types, and it's kind of similar to the deal breakers on college football, where these things, like if you don't meet their needs, they're not going to want to play for you. And if you do want them to play for you, you're going to have to pay a handsome price. I'm not going to be adding any traits to anybody. I will just have them be whatever they're already assigned. The rookies usually have a lot more. So as they come in, we will take a look at those as well. Jalen Royals is a guy that I really liked last season. Didn't really get to play a whole lot. He can kind of play inside or out, but neither very well. Uh, but this is a guy we're really excited about. Cyrus Allen. The Chiefs are very high on him, and in turn, I am too. I mean, he's been Mahomes' leading target so far in training camp, and he went down with a shin bruise the other day, but it seems like he's going to be all right. He's pretty refined as a route runner in real life. I mean, these stats don't necessarily reflect that, but we can probably get that up there for sure. We look at his persona: focused, ambitious, expressive. I thought that said expensive, and I was about to like, oh my goodness, Cyrus Allen is about to tax me 4 years from now. Confident. Oh, so he is going to tax me, and passionate. So Yeah, he's got a lot of things you like out of your number one receiver potentially. He's got a long ways to go to be that, but boy, if you've seen any of the Cyrus Allen tape, you would not think I'm being crazy. And then you have his teammate from Cincinnati, Jeff Caldwell, has no persona types, but 6'5" and 95 speed. We might have something there, man. It's going to be hard to keep him off the field. Oh boy, dude. Wow. That is exciting. Pretty good in open field for a big guy. Fortunately, he can't block whatsoever, so tight end's not in the cards for Jeff Caldwell. Nico Remigio is a return specialist. Brownlee had a couple nice plays down the stretch last year. And Omari Evans. I've seen some buzz about him. 95 speed. The Chiefs have some burners, man. Wow. Uh, to be fully honest, Brownlee and Remigio will probably get cuts. Evans probably too. But maybe Evans can be a practice squad guy. Maybe I'd like that a little better. Travis Kelsey, obviously 36. He'll turn 37 at some point this year. One of the greatest tight ends ever, if not the greatest. Uh, don't think we're going to have to worry about negotiating a contract here with Kelsey. Honestly, we just have to see how many more seasons we can get out of him before he calls it a career. I mean, the last 3 seasons were down years for Kelsey, but career years for any other tight end. And man, it feels like forever ago that he had 1,000-yard year, but does he have one more left in him with the receiving room being young and unproven? Kelsey maybe can turn it back a little bit. Probably not, though. Then you look down the tight end room and nothing really pops out at you. There was high hopes for Jared Wiley a few years ago, but he hasn't really come along the way you hope. He hasn't been able to stay healthy enough. We will give him a shot at some point this season. I'm sure Kelsey's going to need quite a bit of load management, so we'll rotate Noah Gray and Jared Wiley and Jake Brenningstool, who's looked pretty solid, honestly, so far through training camp. JMG, though, will probably hit the practice squad for this season, but he is a solid weapon to think about going forward. 86 speed. How's his strength look? 76. I mean, of all the guys, the guy that looks the most like Travis Kelsey is probably, oh my goodness, Noah Gray has 87 speed this year. Moving on to the offensive line, Josh Simmons looked like an absolute stud when he was on the field last year. Obviously had some off the field personal issues, but hopefully he can put it all together this year, stay healthy. Driscoll and Essapol are solid depth pieces as well. Kingsley Suamataia went from looking unplayable at tackle in his rookie season to looking like a pretty solid guy at guard, and it looks like we might have our guard of the future. 6'5", 326, good strength, able to move a good bit. He's exactly what you want out of a guy like that. And can you see like they're blocking sacks allowed? No, unfortunately, do not. As far as his persona goes, pretty rational it seems. Doesn't seem like it's going to be too crazy to negotiate with him down the line. Creed Humphrey is the focal point of the offensive line, him along with Trey Smith, obviously. But that gives us left tackle through center, no, sorry, through right guard, probably taken care of. Hunter Norzad and Pete, I'm going to avoid that name. Oh, they're all right. So Pete and Hunter are going to be backing up Creed Humphrey. And let's look at Creed Humphrey. Pretty smart guy, solid leader, accountable, composed. As far as his stats go, 90 strength, 94 run block, 93 pass block. That is pretty impressive stuff. And he's able to move a good bit. Probably the best center in football, if not one of them. All right, right guard, we have Trey Smith, like I've mentioned. Really great player, especially in the run game. The sixth round pick out of Tennessee 5 years ago now, doesn't seem that long, but he is truly one of the best diamond in the rough picks that this Chiefs team has made to go along with Chris Jones and guys like L'Jarius Sneed and the guys later in the draft that Brett Veach seems to hit on time and time again. Trey Smith is one of those guys, and man, you can't say enough about him. His work ethic and the growth that he has shown from his first training camp as a rookie to the All Pro level he is on now. He's going to lock down the right guard spot for as long as we can afford to pay him, Simmons, Suamataia, and Humphrey. And that brings us to right tackle, where we're paying Jalen Moore as one of the premium tackles in the league. But so far during training camp, it's been Khalil Benson who has gotten all the reps. And on paper, he does not look great. But he's 6'6, 321, inquisitive, frugal, curious, aggressive, and respectful. So I believe that we may have something here. He's looked pretty good so far in training camp. I'm going to do the training camp with him in Madden, if you know what I'm talking about. But he should be a fun player for us going forward. And that brings us to the defensive side of the ball, where George Karlaftis, Armason Thomas, and Vincent Anthony Jr. highlight the left edge group. Now, listen, George Karlaftis has been an excellent player for the Chiefs, helped them win 2 Super Bowls. Right? Was he here? Yeah, he was here for both of those. And solid guy, but he's kind of become what he is. Good, solid in the run game, solid in the pass game. Not really elite at either. Our Mason Thomas has a chance to be one of the premier pass rushers in this team. His first step is unlike any other, especially out of his draft class, but if I believe it's up there with the league's first steps. Vincent Anthony is a guy that I also really liked coming out. He's currently a fringe guy to see if he'll make the roster, but maybe I'll do a drill with him of some sort to give him a better chance. Because you look at the right side of the roster, it's Felix Anudike-Uzomah, Ashton Giolotti, Tyreek Smith, and Ethan Downs, and none of those guys are necessarily your cornerstone. Anudike-Uzomah has looked pretty solid so far in camp, so maybe I should give the edge to him instead of Vincent Anthony because he was a first round pick a couple years back. So we'll probably lean towards FAU, but maybe that puts a guy like George Karlaftis on the trade block. As much as we love him, we did just pay him recently, though. What does his contract look like? Ah, let's see. Gelati seems to get hurt frequently, so let's add him to the trade block. All right, and that brings us to defensive tackle, where we have Chris Jones leading the way, and you can't say enough about Chris Jones and who he is to this Chiefs team. For a while, he was the defense. Everything was predicated on whether Chris Jones was getting to the quarterback or not. Uh, he's not that good anymore where he can be your whole squad, but luckily for him, this is the best the Chiefs defense has looked in quite some time. I know you do lose Trent McDuffie, but I feel the overall depth of the defense is a lot better this season. You get Chris Jones, 96 strength, 87 block shed, 95 power moves, 90 finesse, 88 tackle, 94 play rec, 97 awareness. I mean, obviously, this is probably one of the best seasons we're going to get out of him as far as what he's got left in the tank. Hopefully, regression doesn't hit him too bad and he can play till he's 34, 35 for us. But I am going to do whatever it takes in my power to make sure that the big three of Chris Jones, Travis Kelce, and Patrick Mahomes retire here in Kansas City, unless contract negotiations go south with Mahomes in the future or something and he requests a trade, because I know that is a possibility. Then we have Peter Woods, who there's been a lot of hype about. You look at Peter Woods, and not to say he's Aaron Donald, because that is extreme, but he has that combination of being a little undersized but freakishly strong, but can still move really quick. It's just a matter of honing his body in, kind of quote unquote losing the baby fat. I hate to say that because it's kind of rude, but once he becomes a fully grown peak athlete with the skill and size and strength and speed that he has, it can get really scary for the rest of the league. And to have him learning from Chris Jones is probably the best scenario for a rookie defensive tackle. And Peter Woods, obviously at Clemson, was solid. His his sophomore year, junior season kind of slumped, and he still came out. And we're looking to see if we can turn him into something. Also, bring in Cyrus Tonga to the defensive tackle room. Guys like Omar Norman-Lott, Marcus Harris, and Cole Brevard, they're going to probably not be around too long. Norman-Lott potentially could hold down our nose tackle spot, and it says he's here for the love of the game. So that is something Tonga wants to win. I wasn't too happy with the Tonga contract, and here's why. They gave Tonga the same contract that the Commanders gave Leo Chenal. And to let Leo Chenal walk, I think the Chiefs are going to feel that this year, maybe even more so than letting McDuffie walk. Because now we're left with Jack Conklin as our starting Sam linebacker to go along with Nick Bolton, who had a good rookie season, don't get me wrong. But since then, it's been hard for him to get back to that level. Injuries and stuff like that have added up. But hopefully this season, he's a little undersized, but he's quite the leader back there. He's like a safety with linebacker weight. Um, I hope he can figure it out. In coverage, he's not great. He's not terrible, but he's a great tackler. So Nick Bolton, a little bit to work with there. Drew Tranquil was pretty solid last season. I don't know if he was 89 overall solid, but I mean, I'll take it. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to complain. Good in pass coverage, and he's solid against the run as well. But we also have Jeffrey Bassa. I want you to keep an eye on. Says he's a leader, which is awesome for a 67 overall to have that. And I'm probably gonna look to get him in as my sub backer this year, just to get him some reps on the ball. And L'Jarius Sneed is here at an 80 overall, and I feel like that is very high for L'Jarius Sneed. I don't know that he's gonna play that much for me. Maybe. Yeah, L'Jarius Sneed's gonna hold down the slot for me. So as we have L'Jarius Sneed, obviously Chiefs legend coming back this season. The coverage just took a hit, but he's still L'Jarius Sneed mentally. If it becomes where he can't guard anyone, we obviously have other options. Kirsten Fulton has a weird deal going on with the Chiefs. I don't really understand completely. I kind of tried to just ignore it because he wasn't that good of a player for me to be too worked up about. Kader Kohu's looked solid in coverage. Noah Williams is priority number 2 in the cornerback room, obviously to go along with Mansour Delane. Kevin Knowles is solid, and Zamer Vetter. Where's Jaden Kennedy? Is he a safety? Oh, okay. So at free safety, we have Alohi Gilman, Shamari Connor, who I'm very high on. I'll probably look to get him in some nickel packages, maybe a sub linebacker a little bit. You don't really want him over the top too much, but he can do it, and he's not terrible when he does it. But we do have Alohi Gilman for that now, and him and Gilman can both kind of play wherever defensively. Chris Wallace is more of a special teamer, and Xavier Nwampa, who people are very excited about, 6'2 safety, 90 speed. Can he tackle is the question. Not terrible. We might have something to work with here with Xavier Nwampa if we give him some focus. But Jaden Hicks is solid at strong safety, and this is a guy I'm very excited to have down in the slot a little bit. Jaden Kennedy tackles, covers. He kind of does it all that you want out of a guy wearing number 22 for the Kansas City Chiefs, like Trent McDuffie. But that brings me back to the secondary, and this is a guy that I wanted to kind of hold on to until last to really dive into. Mansour Delane, he is going to be the cornerstone of the defense going forward. We saw what he did last season at LSU as a lockdown guy, and I know he had the injury, but he's rehabbing. He's still wearing a no contact jersey at Kansas City Chiefs training camp. But obviously, we're betting on the fact that we're going to be able to turn him into one of those premier corners, taking him 6th overall. So hopefully, we can turn this into something. Not a bad man cover, not a bad zone. You'd like to see that tackle get a little better. catches it if it comes his way, can run with anybody. So let's see if we can really develop Mansour Delane as one of those guys defensively. As you see his face scan, and wow, this is my first time seeing some of these new scans for the Kansas City Chiefs. Kicker and punter, obviously Butker, pretty controversial kicker and punter room. Ariza was completely innocent, but Butker has said some things that that's all I'll say if you want to go look that up. I also didn't comment on Justin Fields, who, if I want to do a QB sneak, Patrick Mahomes is coming the hell out of the game. We're not going to even play around with that shit anymore. If I know I'm going to run with him, I'll probably take the quarterback out, like if I want to run an option. But then that's kind of an obvious tell, and it eliminates one of the best things Mahomes does, which is manipulate defense. But rehabbing that injury, which I'm curious, do they have his brace on? If they don't, I might try and put one on. All right, so it turns out you can't even add a brace. So that's something. But Justin Fields, obviously one of the cheaper backup quarterbacks now in the league. If, for whatever reason, Mahomes gets re-injured with that ACL tear he's recovering from, Fields is not a terrible option. I think back to Fields in that 4-1 start with Pittsburgh, and you kind of just wonder where it all went wrong. I mean, they made the decision to choose Russell Wilson, and for Pittsburgh, it kind of has never been as good as it was when Fields was there. I mean, Rodgers carried them to some wins down the stretch last year and looks to do it again this year, but Justin Fields, man, he's never really got a fair shot. I mean, in Chicago, he was replaced in his third season. Since then, he's kind of just been trying to find stable footing, and hopefully we can be a spot here in Kansas City where he can learn, and maybe we can keep him a couple seasons, develop him, although he's 27. I don't really know how much it's going to develop. Garrett Nussmeier, probably the long-term backup quarterback. Lightning quick release, obviously son of a coach, and seems very cerebral when you hear him talk about football. Chris Aludicon kind of just goes in there and pretends to be Mahomes when he plays. It's honestly hilarious if you go watch him play football. So in Madden 27 franchise mode, you now have this weekly hub where you can kind of look over what's going on around the league. And this is pretty interesting, and it'll probably keep you connected more. And look at this, we have a pop-up already. Preseason work for Delane. Let's do it. Let staff handle it. So this is just sim or do it yourself. We're going to jump in and play here a little bit with Mansour Delane. There's one pick. These are super easy. They give you the route, and then it's just on you to not mess it up. There it is. There's a deflection. Oh, I don't know. That's not a pick. First look at the Chiefs training facility here. And there's music, so I cannot use too many clips from these practices, but I'm probably going to go ahead and do a couple of these as I give up a catch. I'm going to go ahead and do a couple of these, and I'll be back.
Level low.
After talking about how no one's ever invested in Justin Fields, I'm going to do the same thing and just do this with Garrett Nussmeier.
Level low.
Oh, how could I forget to mention long snapper James Winchester?
Level low.
Oh, so that extra one that pops up isn't included in the DV battle, but he can't do it again. So now I can choose another one, and I'm going to choose Noah Williams, I feel like. Really give him a good chance of starting on the boundary? Hell yeah. Alright, so I went and grinded out all of those training camps off camera. Uh, those we're just gonna let the staff take care of. Taking a look at free agency before we hop in here, I don't really think there's any moves I'm dying to make. I mean, you obviously think about a Tyreek Hill reunion, and is that in the cards potentially? But I would rather give our guys a chance to develop than bring in a guy that's gonna be here and he might not be what he was before. So I think we're gonna stay away from Tyreek Hill. Yeah, I just took a look around and there's really nothing catching my eye. I even took a look at some of these running backs. Nothing's really doing it for me. I consider bringing Clyde Edwards-Helaire back, but I don't think he's better than anyone that we have on the roster. Blackshear is a good return man. That could be something. Trey Sermon, Ohio State, I believe, is the school he went to. Yep. Doesn't seem like too long ago that some of these guys were coming out of the draft. Beanie Bishop. That's a guy I really liked for Pittsburgh. I think I'm going to go talk to Beanie Bishop. Alright, so this is my first time trying to negotiate one of these deals. And Beanie Bishop's pretty young, so I'm going to see if maybe I can get a 3-year deal done here. We'll give him a little more per season. We'll make 2 of those years guaranteed. See what this does for him. We'll add a 250,000 signing bonus. Oh, let's do an interception incentive. Nice. So we get Beanie Bishop locked up on a 3-year deal. It's relatively team friendly. I like that move. And his picture is a Saints hat. Did he get waived by the Saints? I don't know. Not my problem. He's now a Kansas City Chief. Beanie Bishop. Welcome. After training camp, 2 upgrades for Patrick Mahomes. Let's go back into that improviser archetype. That bumps him up to a 94 overall. Oh, did I just go 2 into improviser? Okay. Oh, it bumps him back down. I don't like that it reorders as you're upgrading. That's not fun. So for Cyrus Allen, let's go slot for the first one at least. Pretty solid upgrade, plus 1 speed could be huge for Allen. And Jeffrey Bass is here. We're going to look for him to upgrade as a run stopper. Alright, and that wraps up the upgrades, and I think that's about it. The only ones left there for training camp are the kickers. So I'm going to go through and touch on the depth chart and make sure guys I want to play are going to play with the number 1 guys. First play of the game goes to Xavier Worthy. He's getting beat up already. As Garrett Nussmeier's already in. Is Justin Fields injured? Whoa, Justin Fields goes down early. Right handoff to Rashad Smith up the middle. Nice gain. Another injured player on the play. So Garrett Nussmeier needs to take this number off because that is retired in Chiefs history. He's going to lead a drive. And here's Rashad Smith up the middle. Rashad Smith. The very first touchdown of this defending the Dynasty series. First and goal in the goal line. Garrett Nussmeier under center. Fake to Rashad Smith, out and running. Slings it. Noah Gray. Touchdown. Oh my. Basically all the reserves in at this point. We're going to kick out to Eric DeMarcado. He's got the edge. Decision there from Nussmeier. Looks like we have some sort of toss here to DeMarcado. Like I said, he's a very north and south runner. Doesn't get much there. Royals, Allen, Caldwell, the 3-in out wide. Let's see if we can look for Cyrus Allen underneath. And he takes a hit. See if we can look for Jared Wiley on that whip route. It's not there. Nussmeier's going to force it into traffic. Won't go, but it's caught by Royals in the end zone. Oh my! Right place, right time for Royals. And the Chiefs jump out to a 21-0 lead here early. Kyrus Tonga and Norman Lott, Tranquil and Connor are still in the game. Don't love that. R. Mason Thomas, it looks like, is on the edge as well. It's going to be thrown to the back of the end zone and caught. Oh my. C.J. Daniels goes up and gets one. Ty Simpson with a touchdown pass. And that'll do it in L.A. First preseason game under wraps. Exciting stuff here in Kansas City. Garrett Nussmeier, 165 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. Matt Stafford, I'm looking to check on Justin Fields. Maybe he only played the first drive, which is a possibility. Ty Simpson came to sling the football around the yard today. Blake Corum, 15 carries, 75 yards. Emma Johnson, less than a yard a carry. That's not ideal. 2 carries for 43 yards for Garrett Nussmeier. He was getting out of there. I don't know how we really won this game. I mean, the Rams blew us out of the water statistically. Our defense was excellent. Kennedy, Gilman, Tranquil, and Snead all snagging picks. Chris Jones, Tyreek Smith, and Norman Lott all getting in on the sack party. Kennedy, 9 tackles and a pick. That's exciting stuff for your rookie. Shamar Connor had 7 tackles. Tranquil, Kohu, 7 tackles. Although not great when your corners have a lot of tackles. Anything big in the kick return department? Punt returns? Nope. Taking a look around the league in week number 1 of the preseason still, as this is a nice touch here. Kind of keeps you in touch with everything going on. Myles Garrett to LA, no longer the underdog for the Seahawks, legend in New York, and the new look Jets. This kind of reminds me of the old, and I don't mean Madden 2025, I mean Madden 25, the 2014 video game. This franchise is very reminiscent of that game, in my opinion, and that is a good compliment. That game was one of my favorite games of all time in terms of immersive experience. And it looks like we have a lot of pop-ups here to get some of our guys better. So let's take... Oh my goodness! Harrison Smith signs with the Bengals. I'm going to try delegating the preseason work here and see how much that does for these guys, as of now I think I'm on a little bit of a roster crunch or time crunch, excuse me. I'm supposed to have the full game. I bought the MVP bundle, but for whatever reason it doesn't pop up like that, and I only have the EA Play 10 hours. So I'm trying to get in as much as I can before those 10 hours run up. But then inevitably I will be allowed to play the game again at some point in time. So it really is not too big of a deal. Taking a look at the injury report, it does look like Ethan Downs and John Michael Gillenborg both have ACL tears. And that is devastating for them. Two young guys that really wanted to come in and have a chance to play, and this would have been their time. But you know, maybe next preseason we get a better look at these two. Trey Lance lighting it up for LA. That's fun to see. I never even thought about that, dude. Him learning from McDaniels. That's a good opportunity for Trey Lance as Joe Flacco is lighting it up in preseason too. That's hilarious. CJ Daniels killed us. Oh my goodness. Let's do it, man. I'm excited. Wow, the presentation as a whole this year for Madden has definitely increased. I'm excited to get into these longer games where I can really feel the replay cuts and everything once we get to week one. Jumping in on defense here early. Still got a lot of our starters in. I guess Chris Jones decided he's going to play regardless of what I want. Good hit by Tranquil as now he's hurting in the chest. Wear and tear seems like it's going to bother me a ton. But just another layer of challenge. Got to make sure we're deep and ready for when this stuff comes and hits us. Never going to be ready for it. So that's the NFL. You got to deal with injuries every week as Mansur Delane gets beat off the line by Buka, Gilman, Kennedy all out there. Bolton was manning the linebackers. Oh my goodness, what a catch for Kate Otten. Justin Fields, Kenneth Walker, Tyquan Thornton, Worthy, and Jared Wiley out there for us. Walker's going to bounce this up the middle, put his head down and get about 4. With Fields, you do want to prioritize the short game, quick runs. As Wiley bounces back inside, he's going to run over Antoine Winfield. See if it can be a good one. Fields, under duress, finds Wiley in the end zone. What a throw by Fields. Oh my. Hopping back in on defense. Baker Mayfield remains in the game for Tampa. Still the ones out there defensively for Kansas City as well. You got a blitz coming. It's going to go off the back of Cole Christensen. And Noel Williams watches it hit the ground. Brings up 2nd and 10 here for Tampa Bay. We want to run a lot of man here in Kansas City. So we're going to look to get to the quarterback with Chris Jones. If we're going to play him. Wow. Okay, do not hit R2 on a defensive lineman. You will lay down like a bear hibernating and touch them with your helmet. Noted. All right. So let's press up. I don't love Jaden Hicks on Kate Otten, but we're going to live with it. Oh my gosh! Baker Mayfield just shook me out of my shoes. Jeez, man. This might be tougher than I thought this year. And our first chance to score comes with 6 minutes here in the second quarter where we've already been absolutely massacred. Almost the opposite of the last game. We're going to hit Tyquan Thornton underneath. Not really a whole lot doing there. All right, 3rd and 5. See if we can get something going. Fields is going to get out and move. Can he make that throw to Worthy? Worthy on the sideline. It's caught. Fields has thrown 2 picks here in the first half. Oh my. Good play there, though. Rashad Smith comes in. See if we can get Rashid Rice going a little. Not there. Gonna step up. Hit Tyquan Thornton. Good route. Huge hit by Dennis. Duke Dennis? 2nd and 4. We do have K9 in the game. Maybe we see if we can give him a run. Bounces it inside. Stiff arming. Kenneth Walker looking solid. We do! And he catches it! Xavier Worthy. If that's part of his game now, this is going to be exciting. We are on all Madden. That was just a great catch. Good placement by Field. Jake Brenningstore runs a great route and gets open. Cyrus Allen, touchdown. And he runs right through Shamari Connor. Chris Aludicon is in the game now. That's interesting. See if we can keep some plays alive like Chris Ludicon does. But he never really nurses them back to health. He just keeps them alive, doesn't he? Rashad Smith wide open. Ludicon finds him. Good catch by Smith. He's going to be exciting in the pass game. I am excited about Emmett Johnson, don't get me wrong. But for this season, Rashad Smith might be a little more important than I am even thinking. On the run again. That was forced. Caldwell going to break open again, however. And that's going to do it for his day. We did just sub him out. Oh, bringing stool. Can't bring it in. Jalen Royals in motion here. Cyrus Allen over the middle. Can't haul it in. Brings up another fourth down. And 4th and 12. We're going to go for it. And this is definitely a way to cap off this game. In this game, Justin Fields was solid, 17 of 20, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Baker Mayfield shredded us up. Too many picks for Nussmeier and Fields, both respectively. Let's look at just the Chiefs here. Kenneth Walker was good. Rashad Smith pretty solid as well. Fields only took off 1 time, which is great to see. Xavier Worthy had an awesome touchdown. Cyrus Allen scored. Jared Wiley scored. We saw some nice things from Jeff Caldwell as well. Jaden Kennedy, 6 tackles, 2 picks for Shamari Connor is exciting. Kick return, did we do anything spectacular? Nope. All right, it is popping up preseason work for Josh Simmons. We're going to do this for him real quick. This could be huge as Simmons is one of the cornerstones of our offensive line. And Patrick Mahomes, by the way, is going to play in week number 3 of the preseason. Just a few first drives, as a little ramp up to get ready for the regular season. He's already a full go in practice as of August 6th. So I can't imagine maybe 3 weeks from now he'll be ready for preseason action, even if it is just for a drive or two, hand the ball off a couple times, maybe do a couple sprint out throws, keep him out of trouble, but we'll see what we can do. Josh Simmons is cooking it here in this training camp. Such a nice piece for us moving forward. Oh, as I missed that one. Wow, I sold.
Bounce. 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 Bounce.
I just realized there's no multipliers in this game. So that's awesome. So it's just you have to get as many as you can before he gets touched instead of it being timed. I'm doing not bad right now. Silver is pretty good for there being no multipliers. So if I lose now, I'll probably just accept that. We're still obviously going to go for the gold. I'm not sure how many it is for gold. I imagine 15,000 if 5,000 or 3,000 is bronze, 10,000 silver. Is that gonna do it? No. Oh no, that's gonna be it. Oh, what a save. Jeez. Come on, Simmons. Is it 20,000? Is that what you need, dude? It's kind of insane. I mean, it's not terribly difficult, I guess. There it is. Now I suppose I can run into my quarterback when I want. My pride's telling me to keep going. But I only have so many hours. Let's take the gold and get out of there. We are going to be going with our full starters for this week, at least for the first early portion of the game. And then after this, we have to make roster cuts, and that is when I will set the full depth chart. Let's head to Kansas City again, where we are taking on Seattle in the third and final preseason game. This is the full fire unit, as it looks like Josh Simmons might be out. Oh, Simmons isn't even available to play. That's not what you want to see. Third down. We're going to Thornton underneath, and he gets the first. Patrick Mahomes coming up to the line. We're ready to roll, man. We're ready for this season. He's going to dump it down to K9 and incomplete. Out first quarter still. Let's see if we can run right behind his big guards. As I don't see Khalil Benson or Trey Smith out there either. It's a little concerning. Stiff arm from Kenneth Walker as he fights forward. We're going to press up a little bit. Sam Darnold throwing right out of Lohi Gilman, and he makes a play on the ball. All right, here on defense, trying to get a goal line stop. They have Zach Charbonnet in the game. Great tackle by Drew Tranquil. Come down and crash on Cooper Kupp on the jet sweep. Seattle looking to not feel the loss of Kenneth Walker. They have Charbonnet. They brought in Jadarian Price, who I'm sure we'll see at some point in this game. There's Nick Bolton in the backfield. And he's going to be brought down. George Karlaftis gets in the backfield. That's what we like to see, man. Let's go, George Karlaftis. As we run into their kicker. Oh my, it's going to be a long season. Is that an automatic first down? Automatic first down. Not the play you want to see made there, Noah Williams. Press up. Go get it back now. We need a pick. We need to make something happen here. There he is. Hope I was able to hear myself during these gameplays. Noah Williams gets broken off first. Then he comes back. Chris Jones hustling the whole way out there. Third down and goal for Seattle. He's brought down by Chris Jones. Gonna try a kick. Noel did not run into him this time. And Seattle's gonna tie the game up. Let's go play fake here. Mahomes is in trouble. Breaks out of the sack. Can Mahomes make that throw? Down to Rashee Rice. It's caught! Oh my! Vintage Mahomes. What a play. Look at him. What a throw. Let's go, man. What you want to see. Breaks off the sack. Gets on the run. Extends the play to Rashee Rice for a huge gain. Rashee Rice needs to come on strong, as Mahomes has bazooka equipped now. Give your guy a chance. Travis Kelce in the end zone. Can't hang on to it. Go ahead and listen to Andy's audible. Worthy's got space. Takes a hit, but that's a third down and short. Third and inches. I feel like this should have been a first down. We're going to hand it off to K9. Right up the gut. Kenneth Walker. Untouched. This offense is going to be electric this season. Great blocks from Humphreys and Suamataia. Clear the way for K9. What an addition for this Kansas City team. Mansour Delane coming downhill, making a tackle on Zach Charbonnet. Gonna bring up a third down in inches here. Elijah Arroyo in the tight end position for Seattle. Jadarian Price has entered the game. Sam Darnold still in though. Price responds to the Kenneth Walker touchdown. Seattle thinks they've got their guy to replace Kenneth Walker. Oh, wow. What a play fake. And good thing Noel Williams was right there in coverage. Other than that play where he jumped off sides, Noel Williams has looked really good so far. Whatever you want, Andy. Shamari Connors over the top. Once I said I don't love that. The lane keeps him behind the sticks. Seattle's going to go for this. Let's bring our guys in. And he's not going to get there. Jalen Milrose finally entered the game. Vincent Anthony is in here. See if he can make a play. Oh, it's screen. There he is again. No Williams. Having a stellar performance. Big third down. Let's see if we can make a stop. Hold him to 3. Give our team a chance. Jaden Kennedy lined up in the slot. And Christian Fulton tackles him short. Let's see if Justin Fields has a game-winning drive in store. Caldwell and Cyrus Allen out wide. Fields going to take off. Fields has a lot of green grass ahead of him. One man misses. Oh, but he's crushed by Eamon Wari. And Chenna Nwosu's insistent there was a penalty somewhere on that play. The Chiefs think they can add some points here to take the lead. Rashad Smith on a screen play here. Let's see what he can do. Catches it short. Runs through one tackler. Smith has room. One more misses. What a play. 27 yards for Rashad Smith. Let's see if Justin Fields can win the game here for Kansas City. You got to dump it down to Smith again. Smith spins to stay in bounds but goes backwards. Loss of 3 on the play for Smith. After this play. Gonna throw to Wiley. Oh, picked off by Eamon Wari. What a silly throw. And Seattle is likely going to walk out of here with a win. The Chiefs do have 3 timeouts. I don't see it mattering too much. And Seattle wins in Arrowhead. So a 1-2 preseason for the Kansas City Chiefs. It is time to make roster cuts. And let's start off in the quarterback room. I feel like Nussmeier's going to get picked up if he's on the practice squad. So we're going to send Chris Lodicon. We're just going to release him. Appreciate all he's done for us. Jaden Ott's going to head to the practice squad. And that's it for the running backs. We're going to keep going forward. Amari Evans, probably going to be a practice squad guy. Remigio will get cut. And Brownlee will get cut. And that leaves us with how many receivers? 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. So maybe Caldwell's a practice squad guy too. I hope he doesn't get poached. So we're going to go down to 5 receivers. Just for the fact that I want to keep all 4 of those tight ends. Tackle, we'll probably send down to the practice squad. Ethan Driscoll will remain rostered. Keep both of those guys there. We're just going to cut this guy to avoid looking to say his name in the future. Pete, you were a legend. I refuse. So, see you, Pete. Hunter Norzad's going to hold down the backup center spot. Josh Thompson, Caliendo will send Thompson down to the practice squad. Khalil Benson's going to start for us, so Matt Walzeko can be let go. Vincent Anthony is going to be a practice squad guy. Armis and Thomas obviously going to remain on the roster. Kind of need Tyreek Smith as depth there. Cole Bernard can go down to the practice squad along with Marcus Harris. I think, yeah, Marcus Harris can head down there as well. Sam's Cochran's going to stay rostered. All these guys will be rostered for special teamers. Wesley Wissentat is a 5'9" Mike linebacker. What an interesting prospect. We're going to move him to the practice squad. I'm intrigued. Holt Christensen, Bassa, and Trank will remain rostered. Vetter, not really a whole lot to work with. We'll let him go. Kevin Knowles will go to the practice squad. And Christian Fulton, we're going to look to trade, actually. We are dealing Christian Fulton to the Bengals for a 2027 4th-round draft pick. Look, Fulton is a solid player. We have too many guys at corner fighting for spots between Snead, obviously Delane. We still have Noel Williams we like. We have Jaden Kennedy, who I view more as a slot guy. But anyways, we have a plethora of DBs that we want to get time on the field. Shamari Connor as well. So Fulton gets a chance to go somewhere where he can be more prioritized, as he developed pretty nicely for us in preseason, all the way up to a 79 from a 76 overall. But yeah, we grab an extra fourth round pick that'll help us either facilitate trades in the future or give us another swing at a solid guy who could be much better than Fulton's upside. So that leaves us with three more guys to let go. And this is always tough as someone who's been a fan of the Kansas City Chiefs. I've seen all of these guys join our squad. I remember getting excited about them when they first joined. Chris Wallace is an all right player. He's a solid special teamer, but is he really worth keeping on the roster over some other guys that might be more deserving? But then we only have three guys there. Maybe Cole Christensen gets let go. Doesn't really do what we want as far as athleticism goes. Drew Tranquil seems to be one of the leaders of that defense nowadays. So I'm not incredibly excited to let him go. Where else? Tyreek Smith, we're going to have to let walk. And maybe we throw Garrett Nussmeier on the practice squad. At the end of the day, we have Mahomes. So if he gets poached, it's not the end of the world. Here is your look at the 2026-2027 Kansas City Chiefs starting lineup. You're going to look at receiver and be alarmed. Don't worry, I'm going to do a bunch of sub packages, but for the most of them, I want Rice lined up in the slot, which he is my number one slot receiver, and these two to be able to work outside, and Cyrus Allen can work underneath. And he's drawn a lot of comparisons to Stephon Diggs so far in camp, and that's some lofty expectation, don't get me wrong. And Rashee Rice is going to do what he does underneath, be kind of like a Kelsey in those zones. We still have Travis Kelsey, the dogs up front offensively. Should be pretty fun as far as production goes for Patrick Mahomes. And you take a look at the defensive side of the ball, so much youth over this way. Jaden Hicks going to hold down strong safety for us. Mansour Delane should be listed as the number one. L'Jarius Sneed is going to be our slot corner, but I'm going to make Beanie Bishop the cornerback number 3. Mason Thomas starting off the edge with Karlaftis, Gelati, Anubuike Uzama as the backup as well. Chris Jones and Peter Woods holding down the defensive tackle spot. Drew Tranquil, Nick Bolton, and Jeffrey Bassa will take care of our linebackers. Kicker and punter, we've been over that before. Specialists, Rashad Smith's going to come in on third downs when Kenneth Walker needs a break. Just a little better as a pass catcher, in my opinion. Xavier Worthy's our gadget guy. Rashee Rice will be in the slot like we talked about. Mason Thomas and Anubuike Uzama coming off the edge in nickel and sub packages. Nick Bolton will be our lead sub linebacker, the quarterback of the defense. And Jeffrey Bassa, the young guy, will get a chance there as well. As far as nose tackle goes, we're going to take Peter Woods off the field and let Kyrus Tonga play a little bit in that regard. Thank you so much for watching if you've made it this far, and look forward to episode 2 where we're going to take on the Denver Broncos on Monday night. A chance to get off to a 1-0 start to the 2026-2027 season.